really feels like we're starting on a new phase of the facade this week. And because it's been a while since we began this project, I think it's good to have a look back for a moment and bring the story together so far. At the end of May, we got permission to remove the plaster from the facade, and that was the green light to begin taking off the crumbling lime render. And in some spots wrestled with patches of cement that were much harder to remove. And we made some good progress for a while, but then the heat arrived and the sun on this wall made it impossible to keep going, so we left the work for a few months. Last week we came back to it, continuing with raking out the joints between the stones. It's not completely finished, but we're nearly done with the first floor now. And that brings us to this week when we can finally begin pointing. Of course, we'll be using lime mortar again, and the facade will not be rendered. The stone will remain visible, which is the traditional building style of the area.
For the facade, we're working with Malta Antica, which in Italian just means antique mortar, traditional mortar. It's a pre-mixed mortar that's ready to use, that does not contain any cement, and that's based on NHL. It comes in different hardness levels, depending on where you want to use it and what kind of stone you are using it with. And the brand that we are using is Vimark. It's produced locally in our region in Piemonte, and it's developed specially for our type of stone, Pietra di Langa, which is a relatively soft sandstone. And it also comes in the matching color already. And the reason why we are using this ready-to-use mortar over mixing our own is because we've had quite a hard time sourcing sand in the right color. Most sand that we can find seems a bit too gray or too yellow, and neither of those would work very well with our stone color. And also Malta Antica is what everybody else uses here when you have your facade pointed by professional builders. That's what they use, and it's proven that it works here in the climate and for our type of building. We do want to play around with making our own hot lime mixes in the future, but we will be doing that or using that for the inside of the house, because inside we'll be rendering or plastering most of the walls, and they will be also painted. So there, the color of the sand doesn't really play a big role because it won't be visible in the end. When I'm researching renovation topics, I don't like being limited to just one language. For the facade work, for example, I've been reading about lime mortars. And there's far more information in English, Dutch, and Italian combined than in Italian only, where concrete is still the standard material. Searching in those languages is quicker for me, but in the end we also need to track down local suppliers here in Italy. That's where NordVPN, this week's video partner, comes in. NordVPN makes both possible. It lets us search in the languages that we're fluent in, while also still finding everything we need close to home. With NordVPN, I can switch my connection to the UK, and suddenly I have all these articles on lime mortars that I wouldn't find otherwise. Although apparently Flanella thinks I should be looking into cat food instead. It means that we can research more freely and more safely. NordVPN encrypts everything in the background, so no one can track what we're reading or steal our data. If you'd like to try it yourself, you can go to nordvpn.com/Kashina. When using our exclusive link, you'll get 4 extra bonus months on top of a 2-year plan. And if committing for 2 years feels scary, NordVPN has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it without any risk. We've actually been using NordVPN for 3 years now, from just before we moved to Italy. And it's really become part of our daily internet use, for research, of course, but also for watching Dutch and Belgian television every once in a while, and for getting our favorite movie streaming services without Italian dubbing. Having one app that handles all of that and keeps our connection private has been really valuable. You'll find the link, nordvpn.com/Kashina, down in the description box below. For us, it's made our virtual life not only easier, but also worry-free. If only it could keep you safe from the wasps. Hey, darling.
In a sense, I also think maybe it's not bad to do a small piece and another small piece, because the more small stones and soil you take out, the more unstable the walls are. So the less long they need to be like that. Hoeveel hebben we nu gebruikt qua zakken mortel? 4 mixen van 5 kilo.
Dus dan heb je in totaal 20 kilo
Ja,
gemaakt.
iets meer dan een vierkante meter per zak.
Ja.
een steentje.
Ja, wacht hè.
Ja, ik wacht.
Hè. Eerst even dit, want ik weet niet meer waar. Ah ja, voor hier.
Of course, I'm no expert, but I think it looks very professional.
Dank je wel, lief. Hé Flanella, kom je meehelpen, Bonnie? Hm? Kom je Massimo even besnuffelen? Flanella, voorzichtig meisje. Part of it has gone bad already. We'll still have enough soup though.
These are for holding the shutters on the balcony open, but they're just too rusty, and also we're missing a few. So I'm taking them out so we can point this area, and when we are going to replace the old shutters here, we'll put new ones in. But that will be a while. We're first going to place the shutters on the new part of the farm building, the part where we are living currently. But we'll keep the old shutters in place for the meantime, because they protect the balcony doors behind, which are still in quite okay shape. Come on, dear.
Dat is toch de verkeerde kleur mortels, hè, denk ik.
Op de zak stond toch echt beige?
Ja, maar hij blijft echt geel, zelfs als hij opdroogt. Oh, dat een lekkere pompoen is.
Ja, dat is goed zo.
But I'm not gonna make the rest of the soup yet. I think I'm just going to freeze the roasted pumpkin in like puree. And then we can use it to make instant quick soup later. Because I have so many other things to do still. Does mean we need to peel pumpkin tonight.
Oh, So, last week we went to the shop to get mortar to point the facade. And apparently the shop sold us at least one bag of the wrong color. All bags say the same color, beige, but the content of this one bag is yellow. And we didn't notice in time. And it was the first bag we opened and put on the wall. So now we have to undo that work and start over on that piece of wall, or at least renew the surface and replace it for a beige.
Could you help me with lower?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.